Hi, it's Jen from Shabby Fabrics. I have a practical project for you today that I know may be really popular, especially right now during this whole pandemic. And this is a shopping cart handle cover. It's made from fat quarters. I'm using Sunlit Blooms, and we've used the Velcro brand of adhesive, so it makes it very easy to go on and off. And when you get ready to wash it, simply close up that Velcro and throw it right in the washer and in the dryer. Let me show you how easy this is to make. Everyone's going to be wanting you to make them for them. So I'll show you exactly what to do. As I said, it's fat quarter friendly. You'll need 2 fabrics. I made mine reversible just because it was fun. Cut your 2 pieces to 6 by 18. And cut a piece of fusible fleece, it's single-sided fusible fleece, to also 6 by 18. Now I grabbed the Velcro brand sew-on version. This is 3/4 inches wide by 30 inches long. You have the kind of grippy side and then the softer side, and I cut that exactly in half to 15 inches long. Now I know there's also the brand that actually has an adhesive. That would work as well, but I wanted to show you, in case you happen to pick up the sew-on version one, how you could use the Roxanne's glue basting, which is a temporary basting glue, to glue that down and be able to sew it together. So let's just jump right in. I've got my iron heating up. Grab whichever one of the 2 fabrics that you'd like to use and iron your fusible fleece right onto the back of that. And we do have the fusible fleece at the Shabby website. You could use batting too. I just liked using the fusible fleece because I liked the fact that it would iron together, and that's one last thing for me to even think about. So I'm just going to iron that together real quick. And don't be afraid to steam fusible fleece on, and it just makes a really nice bond. All right, once that's done, we will place that right side up, and where the other fabric will be now right sides together. We'll take this to our sewing machine, and with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we'll stitch all the way around, and we need to leave a nice opening. I'll probably start here and here. I think you'll remember that, but if you're worried about it, go ahead and mark that. And I'll need to grab some pins real quick. I've got both my patchwork and my clover, kind of that flower head pin. I'm going to grab those. And let's pin out here away from our seam allowance so we can go ahead and leave those pins in place. You know, I remember when my kids were little and I'd go to grab a shopping cart and you're like, ooh, is that handle clean? And I'm not like a germaphobe or whatever they call that, but it's just nice to know that, you know, it's nice to be able to cover that up and just know that you're protected. So I think it's a super practical project, especially right now. All right, let's just jump right over to that sewing machine, a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Where you begin stitching, be sure and reinforce that, back stitch a couple times, and as you come around when you end, back stitch again, because you'll be turning through the opening. We can probably go a little further. Okay. You'll be amazed how fast this project goes together. So really, you know, for people that you're like, oh, my friends keep asking me, gosh, you'll be able to make these and be giving those as gifts so readily. Clip those corners. If those want to stick to me, let me put those aside. Let's go ahead and trim that. And we'll turn this through. I can already see that the tool I'm going to want is my point turner. I'm going to grab that because, see these points? I can only get them so pushed out with my fingers. There are those tools that are my go-tos. Patchwork pins, absolutely, and my clover point turner for getting points out and curves nice and smooth, because I can only do so much with my hands, and I'm trying to demonstrate that. That's as good as I can get that. But I'll go ahead and grab that point turner and push those all the way through. Okay, so I've got that point turner. There are just certain things I need to just keep close to me, and that is certainly one of them. So as I get into that corner, that point that you saw was kind of rounded because that's as best as my fingers could do. I love this tool. You know, really, Clover Notions, just period, are next level. They really think through what they're doing. They're engineered and manufactured in Japan, and they really do solve problems and make things in our sewing life so much simpler with just getting those points out. Okay, once that's done, we'll go ahead and finger press that opening. So we know we used a 1/4 inch seam, so we're just going to turn that down and press 1/4 inch. And same here. I'm just going to fold that down. And the goal, of course, is to just have the visual. I want to get my hands and head out of the way so you can see it. The goal is just to turn that down so that when you look at the shopping cart cover here, that this kind of visual plane continues. You can't really see where the opening was. That's always your goal whenever you're trying to just finger press that closed. And you know, I like to just examine that. Like, are there any lumps? Are there any bumps? Do I need to make any little tucks? Maybe one right there. You could use your Wonder Clips to close that if you'd like, or we can just use some of our patchwork pins again. And now we'll sew about 1/8 inch all the way around. And you could use a coordinating thread if you want to use a blue. I'll go ahead and just keep that cream in there. That's fine. That way you can see my stitching, and we'll just sew 1/8 inch all the way around our shape. Okay, see how fast this just goes together? It's amazing. You know, and it takes very little fabric. Out of a fat 1/4, you could get three pieces because they're cut to 6. So with 2 fat 1/4s, you could actually make 3 of these, which is amazing. You can do a lot with a fat 1/4 bundle. You don't even have to have a big fat 1/4 bundle. Okay, so now we have our shape. And now let's look at that. I'll show you how. It's easier to see it. Let me move this out of the way. So you have, again, we use Velcro. You have Velcro here. I'll move that out. And then on the opposite side, you have the other type of Velcro. So you could do small sections of the Velcro or just a long strip. And like I said, I grabbed the sew-on version because it's actually the hardest kind to use with this. Velcro has an amazing brand that has an adhesive on the back, and it would be amazing so that you could tape that down. It kind of just sticks down, and you still want to sew it down to secure, but you wouldn't be needing to use the glue. But I wanted to show that to you just in case. The only type you can find is the sew-on version. So with the Roxanne Glue Based It, this has this type of applicator, and it has a larger one on the other end. Do whatever one you feel would be most comfortable where you can keep control of the glue. And of course, we'll just put some on the back. And this will wash out if you're concerned about that. I might even just start gluing that down because this kind of has a little bit of a turn in it. I might even just kind of start tacking that down and maybe gluing as I go. kind of just working here on the fly with you because I don't want to end up with a gluey mess here. I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue all along the way. And we'll just lay that down. And I'm just trying to keep it even along the edge. And of course, you'll want to, so this is what I've got right here. I used black here. I wanted to show you what it would look like in white. You'll just roll that down. And when you roll that down, I might even pin that. Now you can know, you can kind of shadow that so that you can see. I don't want to get that pin too close to where I'm going to glue. Let me move that pin up. Because you can see where you could get the Velcro strips off from each other. And now it doesn't necessarily line up, especially if you're going to use just little sections of Velcro and not do the full strip, just to try to maximize how much you use, or kind of like make this package go longer. And you put strip here and strip here, you definitely want to line those up. So now we will go ahead. And isn't that cool in that package of that 30-inch? I can actually make 2 of these. I love that. So let's go ahead and we'll put the glue again. And just confirm this. Ooh, I just poked myself. These will all line up. Boy, those pins are so sharp. That's probably where they work so well, is they just go right into that fabric so easily. And then when we get ready to sew this down, we're just going to be going around the perimeter. Now there's really no need to wash this and remove the glue. But if you feel compelled to, by all means, go ahead and do that. So that's down. I'm going to remove my pins. And you could let that dry if you felt that it might move. You could certainly put a pin down there to help it not move. But, you know, just leaving it alone to let it dry. I'm going to go right to the machine. Let's start on this side. We're just going to stitch around the perimeter. And we'll repeat the same process on our other piece. How quick! It's amazing how fun that is. Hey, something I learned about washing things that have Velcro is sometimes just in the laundry, things get kind of stuck in that. So I find that if you go ahead and close that up before you put it in the washing machine and in the dryer, things are not going to get stuck inside that Velcro. So and it's reversible. You see how that works? So you could go this direction or turn it the other direction. And that's why I chose reversible. It's like, oh, that makes it fun. One day I use one color, and the other on the outside, and the other day I do the other color. So how fun is that? So tag a friend and show us yours. We want to see, these would be so pretty in an array of colors. So, you know, have fun making these. It's not only fun to make, it keeps us a little bit safer while we're out there shopping. And, you know, if you haven't already subscribed to the Shabby Fabrics YouTube channel, be sure to do that. We're always looking for new DIY videos and new quilting tutorials as well. So I'll see you on a future Shabby video.